Dude,
it smells I'm like, dude, it smells like it's right there.
Just
it's
wafting
right
sheesh.
This does not.
No, I don't want you to spray cologne in here. Close the door and let the fan work like a...
Dude, I shit it in my room.
Were you born in a barn?
No.
See, the cool thing about my son is he's going to get to say yes.
Yes.
This is true. You do live in a barn. That's hilarious.
Well, my son was born in the bathroom in
I
the
am
barn.
aware. I am aware. That's a bold move, too, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite bold.
Yeah. It was.
Very McDonald-like.
I don't know how to take that. It makes me nervous. Risking my family's life.
James, why don't you... This is something that the host of a podcast would never, ever do.
You want me to kick it off?
Wait a minute. Don't jump in front, James.
Ooh.
I would like
Oh,
Doesn't he have a lead off?
I would... Josh!
What?
When you do something like... Fool me once, shame on me.
He did that.
That's what I'm saying.
We've been drinking all day.
I got you. I got you.
Drinking all day.
It's a
Give me
rookie
a new
move.
fresh
when are we
one.
It's a
cracking?
rookie move.
Yeah, that was you.
It's a rookie move. We're cracking right and close to the microphone. Oh, you got that.
Hey, you got it. You're right here.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the same thing. I'm going to look like... I can't...
Those are really hard to open.
I love cold one. Cold one. Yeah.
Well, now James felt the last podcast didn't exactly go his way, so I want to give you the floor to intro it.
Yeah.
Now, a good intro is short, sweet, and to the point.
Yeah. All right. Well,
He didn't know.
get to it.
He didn't
Well,
know.
we're going to try this again. We'll see if I can make it further than the first 30 minutes of the podcast while being present. So I think today is going to go better and should be a lot of fun. So a lot of stuff happened today, though, Tim.
A lot of stuff happened, yeah. So we're at the concluder of our event, really. I mean, we did
We're done.
kind of our grand finale today.
Yep.
What'd you guys think?
What'd you think?
Oh, that was a great shoot. I enjoyed it a lot.
Now, you've been to a few, so...
This is my fourth Total Archery challenge.
Comparatively for you, fun factor, number 1. Course factor, number 2. Crowd factor, number 3.
Number 1 was fun factor. I would say the company probably made the fun factor very high. Give it a 9 or a 10.
How sweet.
It could be better. It could be better if Tim would get messed up, but he refuses to, so that's fine. But yeah, it's...
But he made up for me yesterday.
He did.
Hey, it was unintentional. I got caught with a stray bullet. You know, it's like, what do you want me to do? You can't, you can't victim blame.
Brandon just roofied him. That's all I want.
Pretty much, yeah. I got roofied by Brandon McDonald. That's the title.
That should be the title.
Of the pod.
I got roofied by Brandon McDonald.
It's true, yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
I would
So
imagine
that was
people perceive that I am a relatively responsible person.
Exactly.
But that to me is very much your brand.
That is your brand. Very responsible, yet roofing his
roofied
friends.
by Brandon McDonald. Wonderful.
I feel like your guys' brands are more closely aligned and our twos are kind of more closely aligned content and personality. We seem like loose cannons a
You
little
do?
bit.
That's true.
And you guys have the responsibility just down,
Yep.
in perception. But Brandon...
Brandon's might be the most irresponsible person here.
Sorry.
Okay, so
Did you continue?
that was 1, the venue,
Fun.
right? Or fun, and then
The
2
venue.
was venue. The venue was nice. I like it, but it's hard to argue with every other one I've been to has been on like a ski resort at like 8,000 to 10,000 feet.
It's different. It's just
You're
different.
gonna have a hard time arguing with the views and the scenery. Although it was very beautiful here, I'll give it that. I'll give it a 7.
It's its own thing.
It's its own thing.
Texas-
it's different.
yeah.
It's different.
7's
It's
kind
different.
of a rookie score, but
Yeah.
it's
Really?
a little rookie.
Yeah,
Little rookie.
No decimal point.
Oh, I apologize.
that's what he was saying
7.2.
Okay,
Okay,
7-2.
all right.
I forgot. My bad.
Begrudgingly.
Good.
I forgot. And then what was the third?
Crowd.
Crowd was good. I think Utah was definitely a bigger crowd, like people.
Is bigger better?
I didn't lose my voice here. And Big Sky last year and Utah last year, I literally lost my voice.
Just from talking to people?
Yes.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, what you saw here as far as the interaction with me was a lot, right? But I bet you it was twice that or 3 times that in Utah.
Oh, that's so interesting. Because I guess probably guys that are out west It'd be interesting to see your viewership if like the Mississippi line over.
No,
Part of
it's
it,
all over.
It's all over. It's spread. Part of it's just the number of people. I just don't think there's physically
it's
as many
sheer
people
number.
here.
Yeah,
no,
that's
it's
true.
not.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, plus
Yeah.
our field is, it's pretty niche down. So if you go to something in your niche, obviously there's going to be people there that probably consume any one of our content.
Yeah.
But so you're not going to run into people at a grocery store too often, necessarily. But an archery event's going to be, often.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, at certain times I was able to walk completely down an aisle and go to another one without stopping.
Yeah.
To somebody.
once?
And no,
time?
that happened multiple times. That happened multiple times. But like in like Montana and Utah, only when it was like raining out could I get from one aisle to another one without having to stop.
Yeah.
Without getting to stop
there
and
was one
educate
period in Montana that I think it took me an hour and a half to go 20 feet.
Dang.
Now, do you think you potentially have better partners this time that would hook you out of those conversations and get you back?
You would
off on-
think, but y'all bail on me. Yeah, screw him. We're going.
We had to go get beer, dude.
Yeah, I had to go get beer, and then didn't get me one.
Well, we
That's
had
messed-
people.
that is
James
messed
and I
up.
had people buying us
That's what
beer.
it was. Yeah.
Well, I say, hey,
And
my
just
boy
hand-
MFJJ's probably dry right now. You want to grab another?
And he was like, "Who's MFJJ? I
Yeah.
don't know who that is."
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
All right, so I assume you want me to answer the same 3 questions.
Yeah, that'd
Okay,
be cool.
so I've been to San Antonio. This is my 3rd time.
It's kind of
And then I've
wild you guys
done-
have been here so many times.
Yeah, I don't know why. I've got family down in Texas, so it's probably just like come down, an excuse to come see the family.
Yeah.
Whereas like Utah, I bet I spent $2,500 doing Utah the one year I did it because I didn't know about the venue, so I spent a crap load for 2 nights at a resort.
Sorry.
He's so bored, he's just looking at his
I
phone
was trying to
while we're
upload something I put on Instagram hasn't uploaded, so I was trying to turn it on so it would upload.
Is that the one you were trying to
That was,
upload?
and it was,
Like,
Dudley, it was Dudley talking to me from San Antonio TAC. Like, turn it off.
I've totally lost my train of thought, and I was
I'm
about
sorry.
to say brilliant
You said
things.
Talk about the
$2,500
cost
to
of
Utah.
Utah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Sorry, buddy.
No, I'm totally messing with you, dude. I totally get it. Yeah, I mean, so that I also feel like just me going and doing that, I'd be like, all right, I have to shoot 12s, or else I just spent $2,500 for nothing. So like the pressure is a lot more there. But the views, there's no doubt, man. The views are so epic. There was tons, like the amount of vendors that are there. There's a lot more vendors. But I think like San Antonio, there's something. San Antonio just for some reason feels super homey, like a really welcoming, great environment, and the river basin is beautiful. So these like sheer cliffs on both sides, and then tons of terrain and trees that you're shooting up and down in. So I love this event. Like I'd go probably higher than a 7.2. I'd probably say like a 7.8 for me, but I think that also just goes with me, the amount of dollars and travel it takes for me to get to the other events. Yeah. Like Tennessee TAC was fine, but I'm glad they moved it. Like it'll be a much more interesting venue in Georgia, I think, and in Indiana. So crowd here is great. Like it's Texas. Texas.
I didn't
people
know
are
that.
nice.
That was new to me. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I've always heard good things. Assumed Texas would be a really cool state. You know, guns.
Yeah, everybody's really nice.
Yeah,
But everybody's been really nice pretty much
People
everywhere.
support freedom. It's a cool state from the outside looking in, my perspective. But people were very warm, welcoming.
Yeah.
Very chill, and
Yeah.
a few more y'alls than I'm used to, and I don't mind that either. Yeah. So what about you?
Yeah, same with Brandon. I've randomly turned up here 4 times.
That's
I
crazy,
planned to come
yeah.
once, but somehow I've been here 4 times.
Has the event evolved or changed much
No.
in your eyes?
Not really. It's actually been pretty similar
Mm-hmm.
year after year, but it's it's like to me it is kind of one of the ones I like going to because I feel like the crowd here is amazing. Like I feel like even though there's more people at Utah, Montana, and do lots of chatting with people and meeting people who watch the videos there, but here it's just like I feel like it's so many, and maybe it's just people are more friendly or more open to coming and talking to you. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the crowd interaction I get to have here is so awesome. And then to me, it's really cool to meet people that watch the videos, so that's always fun. And then the shooting itself, like, I think people would assume it's going to be really flat and easy.
Yeah,
And
I did.
And I would say shooting wise, it's probably one of the easier TACs you could do, like as far as shot difficulty. kind of a good starter one maybe, but that's not to say it's easy. A lot of people
That's
blow
the
up
thing.
a lot of arrows.
That's not like
Yeah.
It wasn't easy at all.
You're
Dude,
still
every
shooting
single
down,
person that I
pro-
talked to today that I asked about how many arrows they lost,
5+ a lot.
5+ was the minimum. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Our group lost some arrows.
Yeah, dude. I
I
left
was
one on the hill.
accounted for most of them.
Half the group.
Yeah.
Half of the group lost some arrows.
You know? Yeah.
I lost one.
Let's go.
The rookies, the absolute
One.
rookies
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah. I rolled up. I think he went with
You had
5 every
6?
day. 5?
My quiver holds 6, so I just
there you go.
load it.
Yeah, so I had 4, he had 6. We one
And they were-
soldier to that finish
And
line. Maybe.
there was never a doubt. You
Yeah.
guys were like, no, absolutely.
Oh,
I could
both of
just
us had
go in on
some
one.
that were like a little closer than like to the edge, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah, there
on
was-
those bombs in the wind. You know?
Yeah, there was a couple that's like,
Yeah.
it could have gone bad.
There was a
And
lot
it
of
could've
trash
lost
on
one.
that knock-on course that
Yeah.
when you're really going for it, like you make a good shot, but you're off by half an inch.
And by
Because they're
trash,
ki-
he means like limbs in the way,
Yeah.
things that could deflect your arrow, stuff in lanes. Comparatively, we shot the prime course and the knock-on course, and the prime course was cool. I think apples to apples, maybe slightly more challenging. I like the mix of the knock-on shots between short, medium, far. I think I think one thing that goes a little underrated is short shots that could be challenging, or short shots that are windows, or short shots that require a little more precision, maybe smaller 12s. It's fun to range it out and let it fly, but I think a great course is a great course that has a good mix of short, medium, long. And TAC definitely leans into the long, leans into the lanes. But knock-on, I thought was really well spread as far as those. What do you guys think difficulty like? Similar to you, or I thought for me prime I think was a little more difficult.
I would say prime was a little bit harder, just because, especially being shorter, like some of those
hills.
arc over the ridge things.
Yeah.
It's like those were some of those were pretty tricky.
Describe
both
that.
tough.
Describe that a little bit more.
Yeah, so but I mean, basically, like I'm standing here. There's a little bit of terrain.
You're on a
and
podcast.
and then the target is. Well, it's a video too.
Yeah,
They're
but a lot
listening-
of people listen to it
listening
audio,
to it.
so for
Yeah.
people who can't
Oh,
see
okay,
it, you
so
have to
I'm
ya.
standing flat. There's like a little mound in the center, and then the target's kind of like on the back side of the mound. When you go glass it to see where the rings are to try to hit a 10 or a 12 or what have you, you really can see top of the 8 at best on some of them, like just the top of the insert. So those are, pretty tricky at times. And there was like 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah,
and,
that's
and it
gonna
was
be
kind of
the
all
theme.
clustered
Yeah.
together in a few targets.
Yeah. So I would give the edge to prime just by a little bit, but some of those last ones today up on top in the wind
Yeah, those
were
were gnarly.
tough, smaller stuff. I felt
Yeah.
like the targets were maybe smaller today.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were slightly smaller targets, and there was way more hallway shots and way more stuff in the way, like authentic stuff in the way. A blade of grass in your way isn't probably going to mess you up too much, although you and I both hit grass, and I think it deflected our arrow a little bit, but we didn't miss the target yesterday. But yeah, in general, there was like legit stuff in the way on knock-on, to where you could hit something and miss the target.
Even stuff that was closer. Like there was
Yeah.
numerous targets where something was at 15 yards. That if you had an arrow that had a certain arc on it, you were going to nail that stuff and just deflect.
Right.
Even if it was just light leaves and all that stuff, you're still not going to make it the rest of the 30 yards
Right.
and end up in the 12 ring. Yeah, I think our average shot today was closer to 40 yards, where the average shots yesterday were
no.
closer to 60.
No way.
I would
That's
say
better.
yesterday was closer to 70. Today was closer to 55.
We had a lot. Okay, maybe.
That's probably
I
fair.
think what I'm thinking about is the more standard shots.
Yeah.
The average yesterday I thought was closer to 60, and then today I felt like I was on 40 or around 40 a lot of today.
There was quite a few in that like 37 to
42
60
range.
Yeah.
Oh,
max.
okay.
But yeah, that was like the sweet spot. And then I felt like
There was several 80-plus
I was
yards.
gonna say there was
that
probably
a lot of
five
weren't very big of a target
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
that distance.
Yeah.
But I
Like
think
like the one that was, since we came up the top of the hill, was that Corsican sheep at 87 yards.
That was the hardest shot
in
of the
the
day, I think.
freaking wind.
yeah, that was
Like the
gnarly.
howling wind.
And how about our group? Like that
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the
that's true.
friggin' same spot.
Yeah,
Tucked
just like
down.
that.
Yeah. So a point of contention I think we got to touch on today is that weird ass ASA target or whatever that is. That
We're
has
jumping
no
right on
eight
that
ring.
already?
I'm
And
so
also-
mad you brought that
Well,
up right
also,
now.
I heard Tim ask the guys behind us about it, but I couldn't hear what they said. What was their opinion?
Amateur opinions, dude. Amateur opinions. They would have scored it as 8.
As an 8.
8 probably, yeah.
Amateur opinion. Sounds like the right opinion to me. All right, go ahead. Just explain what it
It all
was.
shook out
So
as it should have.
So the targets, it's goofy. Like the traditional Reinhardt targets at these have a small ring that is a 12 or an 11, depending on who you ask, and a 10, and then like the lung-shaped one is an 8, and then the whole body's a 5. This one has only a 10 with the, you said it's a 10 in the middle and a 12-12.
Well, it's an ASA style target, yeah.
And then there's no
8 ring.
lung-shaped 8 ring.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no standard 8 ring.
So today, Tim grooved an excellent 10 on that. It was a hard shot, far.
Yeah, it was far.
And then Brandon put one, almost a liner 10, but out, and you had to take a 5 on that.
I hit a 10 on that.
No, I said you did. Yeah,
said 10.
Oh, my bad. Josh hit a 10, grooved a 10.
Yeah. And we should probably preface this, since you're going to bring it up, of what did we do the day before?
Yeah, we did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was one of those targets on the course the day before, and we didn't have let me finish before you get off offensive. It's okay. There's no discernible ring, right? So it's like, well, there's nothing to call an 8 here, so
Yep.
I would call it a 5 because you
Yep.
shouldn't be able to hit like the leg or the foot or whatnot and not have it be a 5.
For sure.
However, the shots yesterday were quite a bit farther out.
Yeah.
And my only contention was, well, hey, we called these all 5s yesterday because there's no discernible ring.
Yep.
So because we did that yesterday, we should probably continue that
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, no, and I think that
And
was
I also acknowledge that if that target did have an 8, those would have been 8s.
Yep. No, I think it was the fair move because of the fact that the ring didn't exist. So I think looking back on it, I thought so even at the time we should call them 5s. But it's such a bummer when Brandon was like, I mean, you couldn't. It was almost the line.
He's still better.
I was
But at
almost
that-
stretching the line.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing it up a little bit too much because I think that you're right. I think what we did was
Almost
fair.
stretching
but,
the line.
But
We drummed it up for the video.
A bit.
At
Yeah.
the one point, though, that was a big swing in what we were doing, so we wanted to get it right.
Well, it was a 5-point swing, and
It's
they
a-
were
yeah,
ahead, so
yeah.
it put us up by 3.
Yeah,
It was- yeah.
that's
Which is a
big.
lot.
It's a lot,
Yeah, it's a
where
lot.
it was so neck and neck up to that point, and it still was after that, but yeah, that was the biggest swing we had seen at that
but
point.
I mean, James, you and I, did we both get 5s on that?
Yes.
But we were both within like
You were both,
3
you
inches
both
of the
would have
10.
been, if that target had an
Absolutely.
8, you'd have both been 8s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that
And
had the
Tim
little,
would have
had
too,
the
for
little
that
14
matter.
ring on
Yeah.
it, right? And
And
then
I
if you
almost
just followed the
yeah.
shape of what an 8 would be,
Yep.
those would have both been 8s.
If you
Exactly.
follow
All eight
the shape of the
reasonable.
lung on a weird baby Sasquatch, you're right.
Right.
We would have had 8s. Yeah.
Yes. But,
And then I mean, speaking of today as well, that target obviously created a ton of tension and fun stuff in the video. But talk about like, dude, that video had tension and drama to the very end. I loved it.
That's
dude.
a good video.
You know.
it's going to
Crazy.
be good.
I think the storyline, like, you couldn't ask for a better script that went down.
No, that's what's fun about doing these things is you don't know. I mean, people do things differently, but when I start a video, I kind of have a framework of things I would like to have, but ultimately, it shakes out how it shakes out. At the end of the day, however the story runs is how it runs, and we just had like a storybook ending, dude.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. And we can talk
That's gonna
about
be
it.
your
It's gonna
video,
be-
right?
It's going to be out by now. I mean, it didn't fall our way.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of accountability for that. And my last 2 shots flew high, and it'll be kind of cool for me to review the tape and see was something goofy going on. But they didn't feel like shots that would have flown that way. And I mean, I shot 48 targets leading up to that point, and I pretty accurately forecast where my arrow was going. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what was going on.
Yeah, it was just like, man, dude, it was fun watching you get up to shoot your shot on that last one. You're like, I don't know that I've ever felt
I don't think I
this
have.
much pressure on
oh,
a shot.
yeah, man.
No.
Because I shot first, right?
Yeah.
yes, you did.
So then it kind of set the pressure because it's like,
Yeah.
God damn it, one of them.
It's pros and cons
know.
for shooting first, right? That's
Yeah.
the pro. Is
I
if
would
you
honestly rather shoot last, but when you do sink it, it definitely shifts.
Yeah.
If you gave them a bar that they had to get over.
Yeah.
And it was basically like, if you don't get over this, we will win.
And it was crazy because it was the last shot.
Well, and we probably should preface that somebody decided to add a separate rule
Yes.
involved.
This is when
Josh wanted to let down 17 times in the win.
No. In all fairness, in all fairness, that's not. I'm really disciplined.
Yeah.
I won't make myself fire a shot.
Yeah.
I will not. I will not do it. Right?
Yeah.
And so to sit there and tell me that, well, you can only let down once, so you have to, if it comes down to it, that's going to put me in a bad place. Personally.
It's another kind of discipline, though. Like that happened at Lancaster. They finished that with a time clock. Bodie had to force that shot off. So
well, sure, but Bodie also knew he was going to have a time clock to begin with.
Right. But
Would you
didn't
not?
go into that target at full draw, and I was like, oh, one letdown. We went into that target knowing one letdown.
One target.
The letdown thing is interesting because the last tournament I did, they had a 2 letdown rule, and if you let down a third time, you were supposed to get a 0. And the second day, I'm shooting with the target guys, and it was windy as a bastard. And I came in the lead, 3 up, and I was yeah, of course.
That's
I came in come on. So I come in the lead. I had a 212, so I was up 12. The next guy had a 209, I think. And he was smoking 12s, dude. And I think I hit 8 12s out of 20, but I couldn't get enough 12s, and he was hitting like 15 of them. But on several targets, he let down like 4 times. And I go, if I wanted to, I could have called him on that, and he would have got 0s.
If those are the rules,
I didn't do it because I'm like, whatever. But if it says,
but you know what? If you were trying to,
what do you guys think about that rule?
I mean, I'm. If we all know the rules going into it, I'm like, cool. That's fine.
Not even for this. I mean, for like a tournament setting. Like, I just think that's an interesting.
I've always assumed that there would be. I mean, what if you just had some dude who stood there for a half a day and just let down on a target? Like, you have to limit it at some point. But
for a time thing, mostly.
Yeah, because
that makes sense.
So I mean, I think it makes sense that you would give a number, and I think that most reasonable people would say 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, 2 is pretty fair.
It's kind of
But
weird.
I think Tim wanted to create some drama.
I like that.
And create a little bit more pressure, because there's no doubt. I mean, I let down 3 or 4 times.
I mean,
today
we
on one
all
of the
could have
targets.
done it, and I'm always a little time sensitive because of golf. I'm just like, I'm used to playing with groups and keeping your spacing, and I don't want to hold anyone up. It's just not. I just don't feel good doing that.
Same.
So I didn't want to be there holding it out, dragging it out, no matter how important it was. I just like, let's shoot our shot, get it done, and
I have a question.
Well,
on your camera right now, is everybody just looking at James' balls? I'm just wondering.
It's impressive. Drop a comment. Let me know.
It's interesting that you say that it's like, well, we don't want to hold up the show. Mm-hmm. Well, but you didn't do that until the end.
Right.
What are we really holding up? And how many times did you let down on the previous target?
Quite
I don't remember.
It was like 5.
No, not 5.
I think I filmed. Well, maybe not. It was a few though.
I would think 2.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was more.
I
let down
2 or 3 times.
Somebody else let down a bunch.
Oh, maybe that was Brandon.
It was you.
I let down 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Yeah, let down 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, because them's the rules at the time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Right.
And for myself, because of
your process,
my process and my discipline, that's one of the meanest things you can say to me. And I was not happy about it, and it probably looks like I was not happy.
I
about
said
it, 'cause
some
pissed
mean
off.
stuff to you, but that's one of the meanest things we could do is be like, you can't let down.
Nah, like you can't. For me, right? Like I don't want to be in that situation. And if you told me that to begin with, I would say I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing that.
That's interesting.
Because I have a level of discipline of what I do, and that would force me to break that discipline.
Okay.
And I'm not good with that. Because it's wrong to do, in my head, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's why I got so upset about it.
Yeah.
And I was authentically upset about it.
No, I could
Do
tell.
they have
Like I really was. Because
So,
to
do they
me,
have that-
that's
So
not...
reflectively,
that's not something.
maybe not a good move for team morale, but unique situations, unique conditions. Yeah, I mean, I love principles. Sometimes you just gotta have a little pliability.
I just like that you threw it into the mix.
It's different. Well, to me, it's different if you told me that to begin with. If you wanted to make that a rule to begin with, then I understand it going into it.
I would have
and
been
make
cool
that
with
choice
that,
of whether I want to, but to do it like literally with one target left and tell me I can't do that, and then my teammate comes up and misses the target,
I'm interested to see how Tim edits that, implementing that rule. I can't wait to see.
Oh, I
how
don't know that I talked about it on the camera. I just
thought
said
you
it to
did
us.
once. I thought
Maybe.
you might have, or maybe I did.
Yeah,
I think
I
I might have said it. You filmed me, I think.
Yeah,
When I
I think-
opened
Oh,
it.
you think it might
I'm pretty sure I did.
I think you did.
I think
say
I
it.
did.
I'm pretty sure you did because you were filming
I
me.
shot first.
You shot first, and then
Yeah.
you were holding the camera, and you said it at that point, or somewhere in there it got said. And
I
I'm pretty
think
sure.
so.
I'm pretty sure it got said on film.
I'll be interested.
So for me, it put me in a position where I'm like, well, I can't really work through this to my best ability, and to have it come down to the loss by a point, right? Mm-hmm. And the miss was by a
3
16th.
points?
No.
I
You
went
won
10,
by one.
10-5. No, 2. Then.
We were up by 3.
Yeah, so 2. Right?
Yeah, it was by 2 because
It was by 2,
Because it was 10-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would have been a 1-point win had it hit an 8, right? So it really came down to the
No,
difference.
it would have been a tie, right?
No,
Oh,
No, it was
yeah,
a 5
you
to
would have
an
been
8,
up 1. Yeah.
right? And I missed by an 8th or a 16th,
Oh, yeah.
right? And to put me in a position to tell me I can't let down.
Well, that certainly wasn't
I could tell you that shot I would have let down
And you could have.
once.
Yes.
And you did let down once.
No, I did not.
No.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you let down once.
No, I did not.
Yeah.
Because I also had the wind to contend with, and it wasn't that windy, but it was moving too much, and I just worked through it anyway.
Yeah.
If I knew I wasn't going to be restricted to letting down, I would have absolutely not shot that arrow. But when you're contending with shot comfort, what's my pin float look like, and it's windy as fuck, because it
windy.
was.
Yeah,
It was really windy.
It was super
and
windy
it
for
wasn't
sure.
that windy when I was at draw. I was like, you're not going to get a much better option than this.
Yeah.
It's probably true.
Telling me I can't let down again when I didn't let down at all. Right.
Well, that certainly wasn't my intent. But I didn't want to turn it into multiple letdowns from all of us. I could just see it unfolding in my eyes because it was so windy on that bluff, and all of us could have let down 3 or 4 times.
Dude, James held longer than, he held 7 times longer than I've ever seen him hold before, which was 7 seconds.
He did.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So when I drew on that one, it was got on there, and then it was my bow went here, over here, and then I go, okay, now we're on here, kind of settled, and then we let her fly, And of course, Pumpy, baby. All the Bowdisciples.com, grab your merch. Unfortunately, large XL, double XL are all sold out. We're moving units out here, but dude, we got new stuff though. No, it was a blast, man. Like I said yesterday, just shooting with you guys. So much fun. Josh and I are already talking about lining up in Montana and doing something. And if you're there, it'd be cool, for afternoon or whatever. So it's shit I think we'll do moving forward. And I like shooting with y'all because you are all good shooters. And I like shooting with guys who are good. I'd much rather shoot with someone. My buddy Chuck's a good example. He's one of my real good friends. I shoot with him a lot. And I'll usually beat him, but he on my ass. So, if I slip up, you know what I mean?
It makes you perform, it makes you work harder.
And I like that, you know? So I appreciated it. And I like that everything was competition-based or game-based because it's I got to try to make it happen, for my teammate or for me if we're doing individual.
So talk about the scoring structure and what we did today a little bit.
So today both these guys did a round.
It was best arrow total score.
Total score. So we're scoring, and we did 12s.
So James and I are
Cali
on a team. James shoots a 10, I shoot an 8. We use James's arrow towards the team score.
Yep. And then we flip-flop teams.
Yeah, so the day started with...
We all got to shoot.
It started with Brandon and I as teammates, and we
trounced
your souls.
Trounced them.
I think we lost by 15.
That was 16.
Yeah, that
but
was the
it's in there
biggest
somewhere. You have the
separation,
scorecard.
yeah.
But it was a lot.
Yeah.
It's the biggest separation of the
It was a lot.
weekend.
Right? Yeah, there was.
Which was kind of wild, really, when you consider 4 matches that all of them were
Actually, I think the first one we did against you guys was pretty blown out too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember the score,
12
but you and I together was a lot.
It was close until the last couple targets, though. There would be no reason to tune out.
But when the finish line went, it was kind of clapped out. It was blown. So we had 2 matches that were kind of a little bit gone, but not too early. But we had 2 that were literally
easily
down
to the last arrow.
Yeah,
and really
both
close.
of them today were really good.
Yesterday was high pressure 2 on the last
Oh,
shot
yeah, that's
because
right, the second-
3
okay.
of us were within a point.
Oh, the individuals.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
the individual side, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's kind of cool that
Oh, that is true, yeah.
we all came down to the wire a couple times, and then 2 that although the score was more spread, it wasn't a blowout. Like
No, I mean, that's the thing. I felt like it was competition all day. I mean, obviously,
Me too.
today when you and I shot together, it was like Tim was saying, like, super, real high pressure.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why,
so really-
dude, when we called that 5, we were like, it's fair. I thought it was fair. I thought a 5 was a correct call.
On the
But-
squatch?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. I thought a 5 was a correct call, but it hurt. In our head, it's like, oh.
You don't want to say that.
No
different than when we went up to the antelope and it was arguable whether or not the arrow was in. I didn't want to say I thought it was in, but I
Yeah.
did because of integrity.
Oh, the 12, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
the-
it was.
yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was moderately arguable.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Do you want me to call it?"
That was
I
your
said,
arrow,
yes,
right?
It's
Yeah,
in.
it was mine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was.
That was something where
Yeah.
you can go, well, I don't think it's in,
Yeah.
and that would negatively affect your team versus our
Yeah.
team.
Yep.
And that, if that was a 10, would have tied us at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
And
that arrow, in my world, is in.
yeah.
So you're calling it in.
And that was one thing I think our group got better at, maybe just like learning how to communicate with each other and knowing like what we think. But like, I felt like we got better at calling lines without beef today. Like it was kind of like walking up. I hadn't called a single one all week. We go to that one
was
and
the most bunch of
Dude,
bullshit
no.
I've ever seen
But
called in my life.
yesterday-
That arrow was
He was
in.
stretching that line.
That
man.
was
He
your arrow,
stretching
right?
that. Yeah, it was
Dude.
mine.
That was bullshit.
And it was literally a half
Yesterday
inch
turned
out.
into a crack up because
Inch out and you still called it in. That's
we
bullshit.
debated
No.
we debated
I
5
want
or
to see
6
that funny
targets.
so bad.
We debated a
Yeah, we
bunch
did.
yesterday.
It was so fun.
I think my favorite one of the day was when I hadn't called a single ring. I was like, I don't want to be a part. I don't want to give blame. So, but today you had one close, and I just go, that is out. Dude,
You were
so
really
funny.
you were really good about being like, listen,
I'm not
I'm the
doing
new
it.
guy. I don't
Yeah.
want to. Yeah. And then today, that is out.
Only the one though.
Very like we're not even wasting
Yeah.
time.
Did
Calling it.
anybody have more close called out arrows than me?
No.
You got
By
those
like a long shot?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
You almost didn't suck. That's what
Almost.
that means. Just almost didn't suck.
Almost didn't suck.
It's freaking crazy how your luck is like that though, because I've been to tournaments where it's like I am pulling no lines, but I'm right next to them,
Yeah.
and then I've been to others where it's like every single one I'm pulling a line.
Well, yeah.
It's like, what is the difference
Well,
between today?
It's no different than yesterday
Yeah.
and wind. Every time I drew my bow back, the wind started
That
howling.
was pretty funny.
Everybody else
actually.
doesn't blow at all.
No,
Like,
it
what the
legit.
fuck is
It
going on?
legitimately felt like that. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, it's...
did I just keep burping into the mic? I'm
No,
sorry. I'm
you're
trying
good.
to block
I
it.
can't,
I'm
you
sorry.
can't hear it, you're fine.
That's comedy though. Like that kind of that stuff I think is what's cool. Competitions evolved for me. I was really competitive when I was young. And college it probably phased out a little bit. Maybe not phased out, but changed. And then in my mid-20s, I kind of got like, well, the person I can compete with is myself. You know, like, you do things, but and especially at that point, I'm not playing team sports. So I can compete with myself. And that's what I think is cool about archery is you can do what you can do, right? I can't help you shoot better. I mean, maybe, yeah, you could say maybe I could give you a tip or talk about whatever, some equipment change that might help. But at the end of the day, all you could do on a course is what you could do. It's 100% you. And, you know, there could be a little bit of teamwork and gamesmanship and how you select where you shade, where you aim. But it's just like you. And, you know, for me particularly, it's like, first and foremost, I want to have a great day with the guys.
Of course.
And that was like box checked. Secondly, I would love to compete, shoot to the best of my ability. But that has proven to be really challenging when I'm making a video.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
wondered about that.
Yeah, but it's getting way better. Like, you know, say my best days are at a 10 and my worst days are at a 3. I've had some 3s, 4s, and 5s when I've been making videos
Wow.
in events like this.
Wow.
And I would say this weekend was like a 7 or an 8 for
That's
the
a
most
big
part.
improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm getting closer to what I'm capable of, and I'm kind of able to separate the filming and the shooting, which was fun. Like that feels like progress for me, and that's cool to see.
Doing that
Whether I
directly
stack up-
correlates
Yeah.
to hunting. So
Absolutely. yeah.
if you are trying to film your own hunts and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm going to go buy a camera and I'm just going to set the thing up so I can try to capture something, you literally introduced, like, here's hunting and it takes 100% of your brain, in my opinion. You try to film a hunt and do it well, it adds another 100%. especially when you add in the full understanding of the gear and all the stuff that it takes. So I wondered about that. I wondered, like, even when I was shooting yesterday and doing my video stuff, which is much simpler than what you do, like, you had much more elaborate, you were much like more better prepared, you were more thought out. I still felt like I was focusing on, okay, got to make a video. Oh yeah, I got to go shoot.
Got to make sure I get this segment. Got to make sure I get that.
Yeah,
Got to make sure I get the B-roll.
Yep.
Got to point this guy that direction.
Yeah.
Like,
So
there's a lot to manage when you're trying to do a
between
good
those
job.
100%s
Yeah.
in your brain, like, it just makes me respect guys like Remy Warren so much more, like dudes that are able to just somehow, that's become their new 100. They've taken that whole 200 and just burped into the mic again. Just
I
wrapped
keep
it up.
wondering, like, what are you doing?
I'm trying to cover the
I
mic,
get
dude.
it. Yeah, I know what you're doing.
Plus, I don't want to, like, leave burp inside
Yeah.
the mic for Tim when I give it back.
Yeah.
His case is going to smell like goo.
One thing that may be a little bit unseen is Josh has made so many videos, but today was like letting the baby bird fly. Right?
Oh,
Josh
yeah.
has never
Yeah,
been.
I've never made.
You never been turned
I've
loose
never
to, like,
really made a lifestyle video where it was whatever I was going to do.
of what you led, right?
Which I actually led.
So
yeah.
how'd that go?
Well, I thought it went really well, other than I forgot to turn on the camera when we shot Sasquatch.
I saved
And
I
James
know,
James
yeah,
got
I
one
got
shot
you.
for me, thank God.
I did.
I was like, oh, I go back, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I didn't turn it on, and I slooshed it too. That fucking sucks.
You did.
You
pinned
were going to
it.
say we have
Yeah.
to do it again because I
Yeah.
shot him in the
I
knee.
thought he was going to give us all a
That's
molly to
what I
refill,
thought.
and I was like, I'll take it if he's going to give it to him.
If
If I
I
gotta
screwed
take
it up,
them all,
I'll
yeah.
simply say, like, I screwed it up and I didn't get it. That's the
Well,
reality of
your
it.
camera to me is a little bit confusing just because the red light that's always on the back to me says it's recording, but it's not.
That just means
So-
it's on.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think they should change the color of that, do something Panasonic.
That'd be
But to
nice.
me,
That'd
that's
be nice.
I mean, am
Panasonic,
I
in
not the
case
only
you're
one who thinks
watching.
that's confusing?
No, you're right. You're right. And I think the one thing I can say that I really feel good about that outside, I think it's going to look okay. I think I did all right. I'm sure there's some things I probably should have shot that I didn't. I shot really well while I filmed it.
Nice.
And that was really what I was concerned about.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think I probably shot my best during that.
That's true.
I mean, I shot well.
He caught a groove.
And
Yeah.
Well, I shot like I typically do.
Yeah, he caught a
Like,
groove.
I didn't really struggle with anything. I shot 1.5 all day, and it was on the last target.
Yeah.
Right.
Dang.
I loved watching him film
Yeah.
too because I was like, look at him behind me with the camera upside down, like holding it. I'm like,
Doing
he
the
getting
walking
in
shots.
here. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it because to your point, Tim, I've never seen you make videos like that too often, other than that one.
Yeah, we
But,
made one, and
you know.
honestly, Tim made the video. It was just on my channel. He said what we're gonna do, and he set up things, and we just tried to do a piece. Like, I edited it, but he actually filmed it.
Yeah.
Like, he was with me, and he set what we were gonna do. So that was the first time I've ever done anything like that, which I want to start doing something like that like once a week, and I have to get used to what it looks like. So I think I did okay with it, but it didn't really affect my ability to perform at the same time, which I was very concerned about. I was like, how am I going to be able to do all this and still take the time to make a decent shot and not make this take forever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that's the thing.
you can't make it
time
take
is
forever.
a big
right?
deal.
The time is
And
the biggest thing.
it was
time, yeah.
it was fine. Yeah, I didn't struggle with it at all. So I feel pretty good
Yeah,
about
if you
that.
get well oiled, you can film pretty well and keep it moving with good pace throughout a TAC event. But you have to be well oiled, and you can't have too many arguments at the targets.
And we also have a lot of guys that obviously make videos, so it was pretty easy to just grab anyone who's available and say, hey, can you run the
That's the
camera
beauty
for
of
this
it.
shot?
Hey, James, grab this
It's
while the
helpful.
next two guys shoot.
Yep.
Josh, hold this while Tim shoots.
Yep.
What have you? That was nice. I mean,
It's
I would.
helpful, yeah.
I think that's actually the first time I've filmed. Well, in reality, that like we're making 4 different
Dude,
films.
Yeah,
right?
there's 4 different YouTube
We-
videos
we
out
should
there.
talk-
YouTube
we
videos,
should-
honestly, and that was by far the easiest it's ever been.
Which
it really
says
was.
something, right?
It really was. Like, well, you have 4 people that really kind of know what they're doing, and none of them are uptight about it, and none of them are really looking at it
And
from
care
their
to help
own-
each other,
from their own
Yeah.
selfish want, right?
Even when there were times where there was like goofy movie takes where it was like, hey, can you guys be quiet because I'm going to shoot some audio? everybody understood. They're like, okay, if I was shooting my own video, I wouldn't want you assholes talking in the
Hey,
background.
Brandon, get out of the shot.
Exactly. Sure.
You had us laughing in the back in the kitchen, but we're trying,
Right. Yeah. But like
That would have been great behind the scenes.
That would have been
actually.
good.
Yeah.
That would've been
that
really
just
good.
that's part of the fun dynamic that we had, like as a foursome going out. It's guys that relate to each other and relate to an industry that we're in, and then getting to use those skills while we're out there doing it. So I feel like it'd be, I don't know.
Pumpy.
Thank you, brother.
I'd take one of
Are
those.
you finished with that thought?
Yeah, sure.
I had something I
can move
wanted
on.
to talk about, and at the moment I forgot. It won't be as bad as yesterday. Hold on.
Okay, wait, go ahead.
Dude, hold on.
There's something I don't want to forget about.
Oh my god.
Well,
I
you
fucked
say
it up. I fucked it up.
Oh my gosh. I forgot completely, and it was so
Dude,
good.
it's the
It only
edibles I
took
put
2
in the
words.
salsa.
No, I'm good. I'm not going to phase
Well,
out.
maybe it'll come back.
You go for it.
Shout out to James's parents.
My parents. I'm sorry, my mom and I love my mom and dad too, so I apologize. They're gonna hate the first pot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to hide it. I promise when you
Maybe
guys
they won't
post
see
the
it.
first pot, I'm not sharing it. I am not sharing the first one. I will share the second one. That first one I will not be sharing, dude.
See ya.
I'm proud of it for myself, but I know some people won't be. So I'm gonna hide that
So
one.
we probably should absolutely give a shout out to the group behind us today.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
out of every TAC I've ever gone to and every event I've ever gone to, the people behind you are like, "Hey, can we go shoot? Can we shoot through? Can we please shoot through? Can we shoot through? Can we shoot through?" They're all, they're trying to be nice about it, but you can tell they're kind of pissy, like you're taking too long. The group behind us was awesome.
They were awesome.
They're like, "No, you're good. Take all the time you need. Don't
Dude,
worry about it."
And that was Craig, who flies for
Yeah.
Southwest.
Yeah.
Who then gave
shout out
us
to Craig, who gave us cigars.
Oh,
Craig and
I
his son.
gotta get that out of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and-
Well, not right now.
Not right
James.
now. Yeah.
mid podcast.
Dude.
Door slamming.
Shout out
You
to
were,
Craig.
you were exactly right. You were exactly
Yeah,
right.
that-
They were
honestly,
great.
man, if I-
Just in general, they were
Yeah.
super supportive of what we were doing because they knew
Yeah.
they knew who we were, and I think they kind of enjoyed the process. And
Oh, I
they're
got
actually they're going to be in my video. So if you haven't watched mine, go to my channel.
They're in mine for sure.
But I did I droned them.
Do you
walking
remember?
to
I
the
got it.
saxophone.
I got it.
Quick, before you lose
I got it. We talked about it in the car, and I think we should talk about it a little more because you just touched on it with 4 of us being kind of doing the same thing. You and I.
Nudes?
No, well, yeah, sure, but we talked about the same thing. How I really do think that for the archery YouTube space, I think what we're doing here this weekend is going to change things moving forward. I think so, because how often do you see collaborations beyond just maybe 2 channels? This is like four separate videos across. I think that you'll see it a lot more moving forward, just like in golf YouTube. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Well, I try to put a lot of thought and effort into storytelling, and maybe sometimes to a fault, but I try to do a good job. And sometimes I'm like, I'm a golf coach. That's my career. That's what I do. I own my own golf instruction business, and I've recently kind of like found a new enjoyment for watching like recreational amateur YouTube. And a lot of golf YouTube is they collaborate often, and they shoot best ball scores often, or scramble scores often, or those kind of things. And I was like, man, that's archery. Like, that's the way we should be doing archery. I mean, it's fun to shoot individual scores, and that's cool, but it does add a lot of pressure, and it makes it harder to be fun when you're trying to do your best.
It does. That's so true.
Yeah, it makes it harder to be fun, and especially when when your first focus is what you want to do a good job shooting, it makes it way harder to be fun because you want to be zoned in to shoot your best. I mean, you got to lock in. So, yeah, in leading up to this, we were all brainstorming a little bit, and I was like, man, this is the way. I think it could be really cool, and all the pieces kind of fell in a row, and I think it's just going to be awesome. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a lot more of this kind, and it's kind of the kind of content I want to make.
I hope so, yeah.
If I can hang out with my friends, bust balls, shoot arrows, have fun, maybe get people to shoot their bow more often, and what's cool about what I get to do is I just get to promote archery. It's like I'm not worried about promoting a brand. I'm just having fun, and that's fun.
Yep. Yeah, so that was my thought. Took me a while to come back, but what do you guys think about that? Like the I guess we're back to yesterday. The collaboration aspect. Like, what do you guys think about that? You think pretty sick?
No, I think it was amazing. Like I liked the dynamic of watching all of us and the way we were thinking about telling a story. Like watching what everybody's doing with the cameras and what everybody's doing with audio and clips they want. Like I'm super jealous. Not jealous, that's the wrong word, but like I learned a lot watching how willing the two of you guys are to just turn the camera around and talk to it, because that makes me uncomfortable. Like when I'm in public around people, turning the camera around and pointing it in my face, I for some reason have a big like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. The other issue that I have is walking up to people like hunters, like when we went to New Zealand, I never brought the camera out at the house because I was so worried about making people uncomfortable. And so like this collaboration has not only been something that to me is like was a really good time, I learned a bunch of stuff. So like if I was any level YouTuber at all, I would want to be doing stuff like this to just see how other people are telling stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. Yeah.
So I thought it was great.
But to me, you can't really fake a good time.
No.
You know, like you can
try.
You could try. It doesn't really work. So I think
it comes off.
I think the hope of what is going to work really well is that we're genuinely having a good time.
Yeah. Oh, no, I personally am super excited to leave tomorrow. You guys all suck, but no, dude, of course. It was fun as shit. Like, it's great, and I can't, like, yeah, I just think it's, like, a really cool thing moving forward. And golf YouTube is so huge. Obviously, like, that's a bigger sport, but there's no reason the archery space can't grow. Look how much it's already grown in the last 5 years.
That's why I encourage other people to make YouTube videos. Like, I do all the time, and I think sometimes people think I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm like, do it. The more people making YouTube videos, the better. And you know, everyone's capable of it with an iPhone right now today. And it's like, if you ever have an opinion that's really well written and thought out, stop what you're doing, turn your iPhone sideways, make a YouTube video, give it a great title, and put that thing out to the internet.
Let's go.
You know, like, it's one thing to want to write your little comments on the comments, but like, put that thing out into the world. And the more people that know about archery, the better, you know?
Absolutely. Dude, even just go shoot yourself. Because this is the interesting thing. You just film yourself and watch yourself shoot, you learn things. Mm-hmm. And then you learn more when you start posting it. Mm-hmm. And you start telling people what you're working on. Like, I have become an infinitely better shot than I would have if I wasn't doing the channel. Because it pushed me to learn about gear. It pushed me to learn how to shoot. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'd watch every Dudley video that came out, which we got to spend some time with the duds today, and it was freaking awesome. It was super cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, just getting to meet. That's one of the other cool things about the TACs.
Yeah.
Like, you fanboyed over Lee, I fanboyed over Dudley. Yeah. James fanboyed over Dudley, all over him.
Oh, yeah. I like John a lot. I mean, I just think he's so good with people, and he'll, like, I think we talked about it last time, but I don't remember. Guy just is like, he's so impressive at that. So I had to tell him that today and just chat for a while. Like, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah.
We got to meet Troy Fowler.
Dude, Ranch Fairy showed up for a while.
I mean, I should say I've got to meet him. You've met him. You've hunted with him. Josh, you've talked to him.
I've talked to him.
James, you've talked to him a little bit. But it was nice to meet him in real life.
Guess what he didn't do today?
Didn't shoot.
Didn't shoot his bow.
But whether he wanted to shoot or not, I mean, at least he showed up. That's better than nothing.
I really liked meeting him face to face, and at first he was like a little more.
It would have been fun to meet him tip to tip.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Shooting some arrows.
Of course.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Shooting blasting rounds, but
the easy V and a heavy arrow.
He was like a little more chill than I anticipated, but then I got him telling me a story about like wearing a beekeeping suit, and I'm like, this is the guy I wanted right here. You got all animated. I like Troy a lot, and I told him that I was like, I like you a lot. Like, I don't know, but it took him a while to get going, and then once the engine got going, I go, this is what I expected. Like, you know, I think you got footage of this. Maybe.
I did. Yeah, I've got you both on there. Yeah. No, Troy's a good dude.
Yeah.
But I am curious.
Shout out to Troy.
Because what he said was, I'm bass fishing. So he made a conscious decision to not show up to go fishing, which to me, because I don't fish, I'd be like, oh, you're just a quitter. You're an absolute quitter because you just want to go catch gross fish. But he didn't show up to shoot his bow.
The conspiracy theories can really start revving up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty safe thing to say. I mean, the guy knew we were coming.
We invited him.
We invited him to
His
shoot.
subs invited him.
He said he would shoot.
Well, yeah, I mean,
No, he originally said he would.
He did, but he gave like a soft commitment. It was a soft. I'll give him a soft. But he said he was going to shoot with some subs
But he said he was
instead.
going to shoot with some subs on one day and had a hunt on the other day.
Yeah, I mean, he said maybe a Nilgai hunt. Maybe.
The hunt didn't happen.
And we had a lot of time
And he
to
didn't
plan.
shoot with the subs.
Dude, and we've been talking to him.
We had a lot of time to plan.
All of us individually, I think. I don't know if you have, but like,
Yeah.
we've all
I
kind of been.
I messaged him as well.
Yeah.
He said he wasn't going to be able to do it. And I'm just like,
What I thought was cool was we got to spend some time and talk with him, and Josh was like, "Here's the olive branch. I would love to talk about bow tuning with you at length. Like, let's hang out." That's what Josh said. It's like,
I even said I'd come down to him.
here's the olive branch.
Okay.
I said I'll pack up everything I need and I will come down here.
Come.
That would be
come.
That would be entertaining too. That would be a good video.
Yeah.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
I know, but it's not from a standpoint of it being a good video. It's from a standpoint of he needs to know and understand the relevance of tuning your bow and pass that information on to his following. I don't care about the video. He
but
can
there's
have
like-
the video.
Yeah, I'm
like
just saying
some-
both things would be.
I
good.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree, but that's not the point.
No, I
and
understand.
that's all I want to emphasize.
There's like some real
Because
important lessons
truly,
there.
This truly goes back to my core belief: is
Yeah.
that everybody needs to understand and know how these things work if they're in this sport,
Mm-hmm.
especially people that have an audience and a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to do that, you need to know this.
Yeah. Let's
So what
understand
is
the whole
coming
pie.
out of you is important.
Yeah.
I think that's what bugs. I think like that's what bugs a lot of people who are kind of educators in archery about
yeah.
RF. Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
one he's very polarizing, and amongst people that understand and are educators, it's not a great message amongst them, the people that I've talked to, and I want to fix that because I wholeheartedly believe his heart's in a good place. I wholeheartedly believe he's trying. I'm not you. I 100% believe he's trying to help people in a good way.
I do too.
There's
I
just,
believe
there's
that.
just some things missing in
Yeah.
there that I want to help correct.
I still feel like people just don't understand what he's actually telling them. I don't think he's advocating for a 700 grain arrow. And dude, we had a guy come up to him today named John, and John talked to him about dinking a 715 grain arrow off an elk leg, and it just destroyed 150 grain iron will single bevel. And I was like, holy crap, dude, I wouldn't shoot maybe I would. The wide at an elk, I don't know that I would. Maybe I would.
Yeah, the wide shouldn't exist.
Dude, I like it. I like it.
Why?
Because I love heavy pieces of metal. I love them.
But why that?
Dude, I have 350 grain Valkyrie tips that literally I will never use and never get rid of because they're pieces of archery art.
Why do you buy a broadhead
To look at
design-
it,
Just
to
you
stare at it.
listen. You stop talking. Why do you design a broadhead? Why do you go with a design of a broadhead designed for penetration and then do something that doesn't penetrate as well? If you want something to put a big hole in something, buy something that's designed to put a big hole in something, not something that is designed to
I like
penetrate
small holes, I'm
and then
fine with it.
hope and pray.
Well, you know, I think I should maybe I'll steer us back to TAC a little.
No, but I wanted to say a valuable lesson that what Josh, you wanting to collaborate with Ranch Fairy, and I think a lot of people could learn from, particularly in recent years, is like, hey, we don't have the same opinion. That's fine. That's cool. Let's hang out. Let's understand each other. Let's understand where I'm coming from, you know, which is a pretty cool place. Not to debate who's right and wrong. It's just like, let's hang out. I've done this thing and, you know, I've been around the block and, you know, that's cool. I think it's just like, that's big for a person to do, you know, so.
I still wanted him to shoot with us because I wanted to see how good he was past 50. I'm just so curious. That's why. I want to see it. Dude, I know Ranch better than anybody here. I love that dude. But I wanted to see how good he was. I wanted to see how good James was.
Flop your balls out.
Did I disappoint you, Brandon?
No, did not. It was, no. I wanted to see how good you were. Given knowing all your life circumstances, all the sad things that have happened to you.
I feel like we gotta play that music.
Pity party over here?
We gotta play that music from the sad puppies that you gotta bring home. Do you want to help this animal? Is like in this little crate. The music. I cry every time.
Did I disappoint?
No, you were great too, Tim.
All right.
You were also great. Like that's the fun part about I had assumptions. I was curious. I wanted to see how it was. Same with Ranch. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see what his setup would be too. Like I'd be so curious to a guy who talks about like heavy arrows because I think he'd have showed up with what I had, which is 425 grains.
100% he was going to.
That's what he would have done. You know
That's
why? Because I don't think that he's a dumb dude. I also do not think that guys are listening. I don't think that he's saying get a 700 grain arrow. I think what he's saying is there is a spectrum, and I think you should be over here on the spectrum. And he uses extremes to make the point, and he uses research that was done to make the point. I know that we're diving into an area we don't need to dive into. All I'm saying is I wish he would have shot with us, and I think he's a puss for not doing it.
Oh,
I'm glad I didn't have to say
But
it.
that sounds the best coming from a friend.
Yeah,
you know?
And the reality,
Yeah.
the reality of it is that's the message that he's giving, and then people take the message and run the wrong direction with the message, and that's the reality of it. It really is. He's not necessarily saying you need a 700 grain arrow, but he also is saying this is the application that I use it in, and they're like not even looking at that part. Mm-hmm. Like I shoot pigs at 20 yards on a feeder, and I'll be the first person to acknowledge if all I did was shoot pigs 20 yards at a feeder, I'd probably use that because it would go through, no matter what.
Yeah.
If that was the application.
And there's so many less variables and the arrow gets there quicker.
There's so few of that actually happening for the rest of us.
Correct, yeah.
Right? And people that are doing other things are looking at that as the right path. Mm-hmm. And that's wrong.
I'm just so curious how his following got so big.
He was early. He was early, and what he preaches works. What he preaches, I shouldn't say preach. Right? What he teaches, when he teach, is that better?
Either way, I don't care.
Okay,
well,
preach
or
or
teach.
teach. We'll preach, because
Either way.
they are disciples. So, and James knows all about disciples.
No.
Let's go, Pub Station.
Jason from Bowdisciples.
And discipline.
Yeah. I'll tell you how.
Discipline.
I'll tell you how Bowdiscipline came up. We were in Texas 8 years ago when I didn't think I'd be here. A guy who goes, "Hey, we're on course. He with his kids and stuff. He goes, "Hey, it's Bowdiscipline." And I go, "Yep." It's like, yeah, you know. No one watched the videos at the time, but I was like, "Yeah, Bowdiscipline. I like it."
That's awesome.
I went ahead and trademarked it right after he said
The
that.
opposite
Yeah.
of Bowdiscipline.
Right to the fucking office. Sign that up. Yeah. That's mine.
As he trademarked Pumpy right next to
Pumpy.
it.
Pumpy is so nice.
That is good. It is good.
You
dude.
go read the comments of the amount of people saying, "How was crushing Pumpies?" Come on now, it's routine, baby. It's routine. I want to talk about the team stuff because to me, I don't shoot like that a ton, and I thought it was a blast.
Was it fun for you? Talk about that
dude.
strategy like a little bit.
It was so fun. Yeah, it was. I got to shoot with all of you as a team, and I thought it was neat because every time you were my last shooting partner. And by that point,
He's pointing to Brandon McDonald.
To Brandon McDonald.
Brandon McDonald Archery
Yeah, Brandon
online.
McDonald, YouTube.
Brandon McDonald, he used to have a
Like and
YouTube channel.
Yeah. So by that point, it was cool because I came into this like knowing you the best, and we hadn't got to shoot together, and super fun battle, and then me and Josh got paired together first by random flip, and out the gate I was like, this seems like it might be a little
I
lopsided.
think that's the first thing you said. This doesn't seem very
And
fair.
Josh looks at me and goes, but and then Tim, I love shooting with Tim because Tim is in baseball they call him streaky. He'll be like streaky bad or
That's true.
streaky good.
My
And
highs
it's
and,
like,
my highs and lows are too far apart.
it's quite drastic the difference. Like it's either like I was looking at the score sheet. It's like some goose eggs and fives, and then he'll reel off like 5 10s and 8s and a 12 mixed in.
I think on day one I shot the most 12s.
I'm not sure.
Day one, second half.
Second
guaranteed.
half of the day,
Second
you
half
were just
day one
murdering
is-
12.
He was shooting
second,
amazing.
Second half
Yeah.
day one
Yeah.
is, I think, the best I've seen you shoot.
Yeah.
I can actually pull
Yeah.
up those exact stats right now, boys.
James is a little more
Yeah,
of a
there you
stats guy than I would have suspended him for.
I'm a big stats guy.
I kind of thought you were a baseball dude, so I was like, I bet he likes
I'm a
stats.
big
Yeah,
baseball
baseball guys
guy.
love
Yeah.
stats.
Oh,
Baseball is
guy
so boring.
Classic.
Second half. Okay, let's see. Yesterday, Tim had 2 12s.
Really? That's
2
it?
12s. Yeah,
That was in the afternoon?
I had 2 as well. Josh had 0.
Yeah.
And Brandon had 1.
Yeah, second half of yesterday is.
So you and me tied on 12s.
Second half
But
of
I
yesterday,
mean,
I think
that's
it's probably
second
the
half.
I was
worst
in
I've
first.
shot in a long time.
I was in first.
But dude, why did it
Oh.
feel like you had tons of 12s though for some reason?
I had more than 2. His accounting's a little bit wrong.
Uh-uh.
But either way, whether it's a T,
We got the footage. Bring back the footage. Play the footage.
whether it's a T1 or
Love
a
it, Tim,
1,
so.
it has a 1 next to it. So it's,
Oh, yeah.
you take what you can get, especially when you had a tough weekend. Comparatively, take what you can get.
I have to do. No,
I like it.
James
turned around
wasn't
yesterday.
happy with the way he shot either, which
And
I
especially
thought
my
was
first half
interesting.
yesterday, there was a big
Oh, no,
significant
no, I was
difference.
The
happy
irony,
with it. I thought it was okay.
the irony of that is the best he shot is when he was your partner.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that was when
today.
Yes. No. He was.
He
your
was my partner today.
Really?
This
Yes.
morning?
It was Brandon and I.
Oh, it was individual.
Yeah.
No, it was individual.
Individual.
Yeah.
He shot the best when it was individual because we did
Yeah.
do the one individual.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
No,
Shot
he
with-
shot
yeah,
with me
no,
today.
he
Was
shot
there-
with you today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you on a winning
first
team
half,
this
he was-
weekend?
I mean, watch the YouTube videos for that. you know.
Ooh, find out if Tim
Ooh.
won.
This
or
is
not.
already after the YouTube videos
Yeah,
are out.
but
Why are you
they-
trying
I mean,
to hide
they
an
could.
Easter
Well,
egg?
what
Watch
if
them.
they haven't? What if they haven't watched? Go
Yeah.
watch. You can give them the goods, whatever you
Subscribe
want.
to my friends James Visser, Brandon McDonald, and Josh Jones.
Dude,
Bowdiscipline.com.
Bowdisciples, dude, yeah.
.net, dude.
He couldn't get in on the .com.
Brandon
so he
McDonald on
already stole it.
MySpace. That's probably where he's still at.
Hey, what was your profile song?
That was his last video.
Mine was Big B Hooligan. It's some classic desert, like, it's glamorous. I'm going to ride my CR 250 vibes.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
a great bike,
yeah,
though,
oh, yeah.
man.
Oh, great bike.
I like. Yeah.
Come on
I like
now.
that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, no, phenomenal, guys. And that. But what do you guys think about the team thing? Do you guys shoot in that format
Oh, it's fun
much?
for me. I mean, it felt very parallel to golf to me. You get a little bit of strategy. There's a go first, go second, shade off an arrow. I think if we did it more, we would probably negotiate a little more on order and the success of that shot, and then how conservative we wanted to be with the next. But I liked it. To me, there's not a funner way to shoot an event, and that's why I wanted to do it that way.
Did you feel more pressure when you were a partner, or more pressure when you were an individual, or the same?
Probably more pressure. In fact, I think if I were to just reflect on things I've could be better at, is I think I feel a little more at ease when my partner's done well, and almost a little too at ease.
Okay.
The level of focus. Do your best. Focus in on one shot. That's higher if I'm solo versus if Josh pumped a 10. You know what I mean? And I think some people might go the other way, or if Josh pumped a 10, they'd feel the freedom to maybe aim a little tighter to the 12.
I feel like that was what I felt. I felt both lower pressure and higher pressure. Like if I felt like I had to save something, or if I felt like we were in a big push, or I felt like, for some reason I would feel more pressure there. But if my partner made a great shot, I was like, I can. Let's try to ring this thing. And I felt more relaxed.
You should
in
feel
those
more at
shots.
ease if your partner makes a good shot,
Yeah,
because you're
exactly.
not worried about making a good shot. If I make a bad shot, it doesn't matter because I'm already covered.
Yeah.
But I personally think it's the way we should always do things, and I feel that from a standpoint of, one, we're interacting with each other more as a team, which is going to be more enjoyable. You get to have the camaraderie, you get the shit talking against each other at the same time, which is great, and the security of it is awesome.
Yeah.
It really is.
No, it was really
It
fun.
keeps scores tighter, even if the talent gap is maybe, say, from the best guy to the worst guy in a team setting.
For sure.
You really balance the
For
scores
sure.
a lot by doing a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because maybe some guy could wash the other guy, but then, if his partner and them both, now it's like you got it. Same with golf.
I mean,
people hit eagles and birdies all the time.
Personally, if you're maybe just getting rolling and you're hoping to hit foam, like if your partner's a consistent 10 kind of person, you might ring a couple 12s, and that might be the thing, you know.
Exactly.
Well,
that might push you over.
Let's look at this weekend as an example. I mean, I agree with your sentiment, but I don't know if this weekend really showed that for the most part, with the exception of the last one. Because you and I, as partners, we kind of ran away with it. You and I, as partners, we kind of ran away with it. The individual, you won, right? And then Tim and I and you two as partners, it was really close.
Tight.
It was tied all the way to the last arrow. So, but it's a security thing. I think it's more comforting. I think it's, and I think the camaraderie and whatnot definitely benefits it. But I would love this weekend shows.
I would
For
love
sure.
to see it.
I think it will show it, dude. I really do. I think when the videos come out, I think the energy that we felt is going to show through. And that's why, like, obviously I'm excited to edit and make my own video because I enjoy that process. But I can't wait to see what each one of you does. You know, like,
Yeah,
I
for
can't
sure.
wait to see. And I think each video going to be a riot, you know. Like I'm gonna leave in all the funniest lines and make it, you know. But I can't wait to see
jail.
them, you know.
Which is the plus of the way I filmed it, because I didn't turn the camera off at all.
Oh, that makes me a little nervous. Actually.
Right? Like I turned it. I left it running a lot longer than anybody else did.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, and I wanted to catch as much of the audio as I could, which granted it's a shotgun mic and there's distance, so you might not get it as good as you should. But if in a perfect scenario, which I don't know if they make it or not, I would really much rather see this on 4 people
They make
with
a
one.
four-way splitter, but it's
Yeah.
not super great.
Yeah, if somebody made a good 4-way, just because that's the only thing. Like, and if that was the scenario, I might leave it on the whole time. Even if you don't catch the image, that you catch the audio, because there's so much of the interaction of what we did that nobody gets to hear or
behind the
see.
camera.
It's behind the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking shit and fucking off like
But we're
the
being
whole time,
like
but we're not in
being
front of the
like
camera.
way more camera inappropriate than normal. Because like
Yeah,
we're
but-
willing to throw some swears in here, but like we get it's the locker room talk.
But the beauty of that,
That was
but the
not
beauty of that,
rude
but the
talk.
beauty of that is you can just go in and
No,
over
I
the top
get-
of it.
I get it.
Right? So everybody kind of knows what you said,
Oh,
but
yeah.
at the same
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon, I'll be
Okay.
curious to hear Josh's opinion after he's 10 hours into an edit.
Exactly.
No, I'm not saying it's easier.
No, I know.
I'm not, but the reality of us, right? If people actually get that,
That's
and
our
get to
band name,
see
by
that,
the way. The
That makes it
reality
feel
of
like
us.
reality
you're
of
with
us.
the group.
The reality
kinda,
of
that,
us.
you know?
yeah,
Absolutely.
Like, and because you know what we're doing is the same thing they're doing.
Yes, it's the same thing they're doing.
100%.
We're
They
just
get to,
filming.
and they
That's
get
the
to
only
see
difference.
what they're watching on their TV or their phone or their iPad. That hey, they're doing the same thing we are,
Yeah. Or
and
hey,
they're no
they,
different than us.
they blew up an arrow too.
Yeah, and
by
so
they,
yeah,
I mean
I
Tim.
get the edit. and the reality is, yeah, I get the edit's gonna suck, but they deserve to know it,
Yeah,
and I'll sit through that shitty edit
that's cool.
to make sure that they know. Look,
Yeah.
they're not any different.
Yeah.
The same people. Now, maybe we're better at it than you. Maybe we're worse at it.
Maybe
than
we're
you.
worse, yeah.
Maybe we're worse, but we're the same people.
I will say too, one thing
Same people. Archery community is cool.
Oh, dude.
I didn't know that until I started showing up to these things. I mean, I guessed it, but I didn't know it. You know, it's good people.
And I've known it, and I've known it for 20 plus years. When I decided that how much money I made wasn't going to matter because I wanted to service this community.
Yeah.
Because they're the best people I've ever known in my life. They really are.
They're like,
And
What
anything I can do
percent-
to make that community stronger
Yeah.
and better and grow more, I will do.
What percentage of your friends and acquaintances, like, do you know directly through archery? I'm sure it's huge.
98%.
Exactly. You know, and that's dope. One thing I want to touch on real quick before we moved on from that, I think if I didn't even think about this till we were talking about it, but it's perfect. We get to do 3 team videos with each partner plus an individual. Because another team one, then it's like now you gotta go
Like
back
we're
with someone
rotating
else
again?
or rotating. So
Yeah.
like I think for what we had, we kind of nailed the concept.
Yeah.
And dude, it was cool to see you guys fly the drones and the kids. Like, I loved watching the little kids watch you guys fly your drones. They're like, this is so cool. Brandon thought he lost his drone for a bit. You should talk about that.
I also cut my finger when it came in when
Oh,
I was
you
in the
chopped it a
parking
little
lot. I grabbed it to take it out of the air and I went too high.
Oh, you pulled
Rookie
the old Trevor
move.
Bauer.
She but it was
like-
just my finger.
it's like
No big
scoring
deal.
a pizza out of 7.
Yeah, it didn't feel great.
Yeah. I was surprised by some younger kids being like, hey, they were appreciating what we do, and also some ladies. And maybe Josh, you and I might have been skewed, in our perspective,
Valid.
saying
We had somebody explain it to us.
saying the 3%.
It's not the first time I've heard it too.
Yeah, the 3% is actually maybe
What's the 3%?
the 3% of women.
You look
that
at your women versus men on your YouTube analytics.
And
It's
it's
97% men.
consume our
Okay.
content. But this lady was like, "Hey, I'm watching on my guy's account. I'm watching with him," you know.
Yeah.
And she was excited to snap a picture, which was cool.
Yeah, but she was very adamant. I was like, hey, we're all watching it on our guys' accounts.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I appreciate you telling
That's
us that
interesting.
because we're like, I was starting to wonder if we're like super misogynistic or what, because it doesn't seem like women watch. It's like, no, we're watching it with them.
Yep. No, yeah, a lot of
Now I need to be more cognizant.
more and more women do. In fact, I met a guy today. I wish I could remember his name. He was so cool, but I met him yesterday, and he wanted to snap a picture, so we did. And he goes, "My daughter, she's 12, shoots, and she loves your show. Like, she's not with me right now, but I hope I." And I got to meet her today. Little girl killing it with her bow, and got a picture with her. I'm like, how dope is that, dude? Like little girls watching the stuff, or boys, like whoever. Like, but I think it's cool that women are getting. It seems to be reached more. And we talked about it a little, like the analytics I love to watch. I'm an analytics nerd. And when we started putting women in the videos, it went from 3% to 7% women viewership.
That's
a
huge,
huge
dude. That's
jump.
a
Huge
massive jump.
Huge jump.
more
So
than double.
today I was there with you guys on the lady you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had 3 others that came up, and they're like, I literally got into archery and learned and compare myself to Brianna. Like, she's who I try to build up to, like, try to do what she doing. And I'm like, that to me
That's
is
awesome,
dope,
dude. For
you
real,
know?
that's super cool.
You know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there are more women than we think watching.
I've
Yeah.
noticed year after year, more women and more. I'll just say women because I don't actually think it's kids. I think more women show up. Like I feel like I'm seeing kind of the same amount of kids, but more ladies.
I agree.
And shout out to the gal that was wearing a tennis skirt and a camo shirt. I hope you listen to this. That was badass.
Yeah.
And I saw some women shooting like groups of girls, like only 3
Nice.
girls going out.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I'm like, that's dope, you know?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
We're actually doing that in TAC, Utah, where one day all the girls from the crew are going to take their own camera and film a girls only video.
Oh, that'll be
I'm
awesome,
like, dude, that's
yeah,
gonna
that's
be a
gonna be-
riot, dude. You know?
That's gonna be your 10-hour edit right there. If they don't know how to run the cameras.
Oh, dude. No,
Just go-
Brianna's good on the camera.
Okay,
but-
good. She ain't
yeah.
gonna just leave
And
it on
Whitney,
the whole
too.
time.
Yeah.
Good.
Tim, what was if you had to narrow it down to one thing, either a shot, a meal we had, a restaurant we went to, a vibe here at the house, all weekend, favorite thing that happened?
I mean, the energy and the helpfulness of the group. We kept good energy all weekend, good vibes, which is cool. You know, I mean, you nitpick, you pitter patter a little. Josh and I had a little huddle at one point. You know, a little difference of opinion on some mental strategy, and that's fine.
Is that when he was roasting you on not contributing?
Elaborate. I heard that.
A little difference of opinion, and that's fine. And that's natural. But the overall energy
What was
of
the
the whole
difference of
weekend-
opinion, Tim?
I said we had a difference of opinion to the group here, a little huddle that we haven't had public. But Josh was like, "Hey, what'd you shoot?" And I was like, "Doesn't matter what I shot." I was like, "Why is that important to you?" And you're like, "Oh, some whatever." And I don't know. I don't know where this
how
went.
much he's listening when I'm trying to talk to him. Shit.
I don't know what he said exactly.
Whatever.
But he was like, "What'd you shoot?" And I was like, "Doesn't matter." And you're like, "What was it?" And Josh is like, I want to know that score because it stresses me out or it doesn't. You know, and if I know my partner's contributing, I feel less stress. And I'm like, well, tell me why that's important to you. And you can go ahead.
Well, I thought I already told that.
You did, but you were telling the podcast.
Yeah, no, you did.
No, I mean, it was like, so if I know that, if I know what I have to do versus I know it's not a concern, it's a lot easier to make a good shot, right? Like, so.
Totally is.
So it's 100% easier. It's not even remotely close, right? So if your partner is constantly not shooting well, then you're putting all the pressure is getting put on you to perform. And, you know, I know, like today in the second half of the day, you struggled from what I know your ability to be a lot, and then that transferred all the stress to me. It's like, okay, well, I got to carry him, and I got to carry. And honestly, it was most of the day, and it was hard and it was stressful. And then he threw a little more stress on it at the end of it. I'm like, don't you think I've been stressed enough throughout this to try to carry this?
Yeah,
shit?
but my perspective was like, one, I'm trying. Two,
I'm not. I wouldn't beating on you.
But I know. But I'm just giving my perspective. It's like, one, I'm trying. Two, I mean, all I can do is all I can do, and that's all you can do in archery is make one good shot at a time. So when you step up to that arrow, all you can do to make the best shot you can on that one arrow. And I mean, if I were to like assess how did I do on my targets today, I felt pretty good about most of them relative to what I've known of the past. Mm-hmm. So I felt good about, where my head was at, how I was executing shots. And that's what I can do and what I can control. So outside of that, I can't control the results, right? I can't control whether I shoot a 5 or an 8 or a 10 or a 12. I can try, I can make adjustments, I can make equipment adjustments, but I physically can't control where my arrow goes, right? Which is a Josh Jones thing, right? All you can do is try to make a good shot. So I was trying. My head was there. I was present. And then I'm like, I feel like you're questioning my score a little bit and then how your effort's going to be perceived on that. And I'm like, Josh, that's a you problem, not a we problem, because I want you focused on you. Like, make the best shot you can. Make the best shot Josh can make. And let the chips shake where they shake out.
Yeah, and there was I want to say too, like I heard you guys talk about this, and it was like these guys aren't sitting there fighting. Like I don't want it to be like they're having fun. We're
not bickering.
And that's the thing too with any sort of two-person team. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people will, out of 12 targets, contribute 7 shots that got taken in 5, like a pretty even spread. Sure. But sometimes it's like Brandon and I could have teamed up, and I could have just dropped anchor and started missing and hitting 5s, and it's like. Sure. All of his shots would have counted. It's like, I guess you kind of never exactly really know.
Yeah, but I get Josh's point though. Like,
totally.
I get it.
I understand it too. Yeah, I mean, if you have to make up more points, there's more stress. I mean, it is. But mentally, if it's like, hey, to separate that, it's like, just do your best, right? I mean, 5, 10, 0. If we existed in a perfect world, you could execute that same shot, irregardless of what your partner did.
That's also completely true. Yeah. But I also wonder, if that's the whole contribution.
But there's a strategy to the team thing, right? So there's like,
let him talk.
Yeah.
No, I just wonder, if a contribution to the team is also part of that increase and decrease of stress and pressure.
Of course.
So therefore, I don't know, I was always curious what he got. Mm-hmm. And mentally I probably am going, am I keeping up? Am I doing a good enough job to try to keep up with James, or I'm hyper detracting from him? Because that's, again, part of that whole pressure scale that's going up and down.
And I will say, when we were teammates, I felt like, dude, we were pretty solid as a team. I felt like we really locked in.
Yeah. Dude.
And that was where... Dude, I don't know. I had so much fun the second half of the day. I finally got hydrated after having about 4 gallons.
Right. Yeah.
Then I go, all right. Yeah, it was fun, man. And, dude, I'm telling you, when I stepped up to that last target for Tim's video, I could see Brandon. I said, hey, film some of this for my vlog video. So he filmed it. I could see him looking at me I could tell he was kind of nervous. What's this guy going to drop right now? And I was like, I hope it's good. I'm going to try to pump house it, of course. And then we almost drained it, It wasn't quite a 12, but that was the biggest relief seeing that thing land.
But dude, that's the interesting thing is then when you shot the 12, I went, oh my gosh, okay, we've got the 10. The odds of me getting the 12 at this distance are it'll be lucky.
So there's no pressure.
And so I would, in theory, and typically, I think, execute a better shot.
Yeah. Your shot was perfect left to right. It was
no, but I'm just talking about in general. I think that, probably the 12 that I would get was probably because I watched your shot, even could reference your arrow as well.
Which is big.
Yeah, you had a good spot to hold, just barely up.
Hey, I need to go over 2 inches and down 2 inches.
From a strategy perspective, that might be the biggest deal.
Well, and then the next shot, my teammate misses the target.
Right.
So now I'm left with I have to get an
you
eight or
have
better
to do it.
It's the opposite end.
just to tie, right? It's
Yeah.
the other influx of
Yeah.
it. And I think what you're not thinking about or you're not cognizant of is an expectation, right? You've come into this space, right? And I don't think you have an expectation against you to excel above others,
No.
right?
No.
And
And
I do.
I probably have a weird skewed perspective because most of the people
Yes.
I shoot with are so good at archery.
Right.
So I get beat
Yeah.
often.
That's very true,
So the
actually. That's very
expectation for me to do well is
Yeah.
really high,
yeah.
right?
Which I understand.
Which no offense, you probably don't feel at all.
No, not as much. I mean, I want to do a good job. I want to get close to what I'm capable of doing, but I don't feel like I want to do a good job. But I don't. If I don't shoot my best, I'm like still gonna make a cool video.
True.
Oh,
You know?
But the reality,
Very
the
true.
reality of the situation, like, because James was keeping score on everything, and I beat everybody today, right?
Did you?
Individually? Oh
He
yes.
did. He got
Hell
me
no.
by
No
5. Yeah.
chance.
Yeah, I beat
Yeah.
everybody today.
Okay,
Yet I
okay.
still lose.
Yeah.
You shot well,
And that's a hard thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
shot
lost
normal
one. You
today.
lost.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I
you
shot
went
normal
50-50. That you lost 1-1-1, so you didn't lose. You know, you lost.
I know.
But no, I hear you.
I know. And it's just that part of it's kind of hard.
But you know what? The truth, like every night we play pool, I want Tim on my team. You know why?
Of course.
Until he's on my team and he can't hit shit.
I mean, I ran like 7 balls and made
One
him dub
time,
last night.
one time we were teammates.
I think
you
you were
actually
a little
ran the
hazy.
table really well. I
Hey,
didn't even need to hit
You
a
were a
ball.
little
This is
hazy
great.
last night because we didn't lose a game last
That's
night.
you.
We've
That's
only
you
played
being
teams
pissed
like
that
3
he
times
shot like
yesterday.
you shoot 5 10s and you didn't shoot all the 12s the whole time. Like Tim.
not-
Okay, Tim.
it's not
at
that, like,
pool,
what's the
we,
first
no,
thing? Hold on,
we
hold on,
wanted
hold on.
him on our team because
Hold
he's freaking great. Like that's what I'm saying.
I get that.
Yeah.
But like, think
fifth
for
one.
a second. Think for a second here. How many people came up today and said who won?
Everybody.
Right.
They're all asking
Everybody.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
who-
they every
and-
time they come to me, it seems like they ask
Yeah.
who won, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say because I don't want to sound like a dick. So I'm just
Well,
like,
you didn't have a problem
I'm just
saying it
like
yesterday.
No, I did. I didn't say one time.
Oh,
No,
shit. I
no,
had
I
at least
didn't.
5 people come up to you
No.
and say, "Oh yeah, Jim said he beat you."
No, I did not say that. Someone else might have. Every time someone would ask me, I would say, "You got to watch the videos." I never said one time.
I'm just saying,
I'm
that is
telling
not the
you.
story. I
I'm
got
telling
the
you.
average guy.
Maybe
walking
one
up
of
to
them
me.
said.
I will say, I
said-
definitely told people
I never
that
once
James
said
shot
that.
better yesterday.
No,
I for
I
sure
never
did.
once
I
said
for
that.
sure
Yeah.
did.
I'm not that type of guy.
But I
dude.
also,
Like,
I would
I'm
also
just,
tell
I'm
you
just saying.
Yeah.
I had multiple
Yeah.
people come up to me
But I'm
yesterday
just saying
and tell me
that
It was me.
source was
Yeah.
not. From
No, I'm
me.
not joking. It was, I have no problem saying James shot better than you
I
the
think
first day.
even Tim might have said it once because someone came up and I said, you got to wait for the video, and Tim goes, "You could tell him." Like, and then
Yeah.
Tim told him.
I
I
don't
still
mind, yeah.
didn't do it. Like that's just.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't make calls on the lines. I don't want to be.
I do. How many
You know.
how many line calls did I make in 2 days?
You missed quite a few that were just out.
And how many calls did I try to make?
You made one today.
You and me made
The
one
one.
each.
And
I
it
made
was in-
one,
and
and
it
I
was in
called an
favor of
arrow
the
that
other team.
affected me negatively in.
Correct.
And
Okay.
Okay,
Real
and
quick.
you have the same philosophy. It's like
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the person
Nope.
that says this.
I'm not going to take a win
because I'm not
ever.
gonna win this and have anybody question that I won
Nope.
it.
See,
No.
I'm an
Right,
Enneagram
it's the
8.
same
And
thing.
I would
just
rather
will-
random
I'll
ones
just go
by
for it.
a
I
little
don't
bit.
care.
I'd rather would. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, fundamentally, Josh Jones, you want to do a good job, right? You want to shoot well, you want to win.
I know what I'm capable of,
Yeah.
and I know what my ability is, and I
Yes.
know what the expectations are.
But when you shoot that arrow, what can you do?
What can I do?
Yeah. When you shoot an arrow, what can you do?
Once it's gone, there's nothing I can do about it.
Right. All you can do is make the best shot you can do, right? So you and I are saying the same things different ways, but you're all of a sudden framing the results as being, and they are important because you want to win, right? But what I'm saying is, I couldn't do more than I could do. I mean, I'm pretty aware of how I shot, and I was present, but you know, I'm not the. I didn't hit as many 10s or 12s.
What's the point you're trying to make, so I understand?
The point is, you're like, hey, I want to win. But you also preach, hey, all you can do is make the best shot you can make. Those are different things. Winning and making the best shot you can make are different things.
So, okay, well, hang on.
Yeah, go
They're
for it.
different things.
So-
One is results,
Yes,
one is process.
I understand. I understand
Yeah.
what you're trying to say. So, am I not supposed to get on my teammate when he's not doing well?
Getting
Is
on,
that because that's kind
no,
of what I'm
that's
getting at? It's
that's
like,
a unique thing. It's like with a teammate, you want to know how to talk to your teammate to get them to work productively, right? And everyone's different. Some people need a little negative feedback, some need a little positive, you know? And it's just like, that's teamwork, is you figure out, hey, my partner needs this. He needs a little nudge. Maybe he needs a little pat on the shoulder. And that's just figuring out how to work with your team, you know?
Do you feel like you didn't get, well, like, do you feel like the feedback from Josh didn't help you? Like, do you feel like there's things that he could, just curious, just out of
when
curiosity.
I would feel the pressure of like,
yeah, dude.
what did you shoot? I'm like,
so even that question, just like maybe the potential shame of you not liking your score, felt bad?
yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I think
So basically, I think we're saying that Tim, it was a little sensitive about how I talked to him.
I think I heard both of you guys really well in your points, and like maybe I'll say it differently, and it'll maybe make sense more. I feel like what Tim is saying is that your effort and your process was the best you could do.
Yeah,
and you're
I felt
saying,
good about it.
You're saying, hey, I am not scoring less shots than you because of a lack of effort. Is that what you're saying? So you're trying. I know you are. Like every time I watch you step up, glass the target, take your time, try to make a good shot. Josh was landing more good shots, you know, but you're saying you don't feel like you should be grab-assed because of you were still putting in maximum effort.
Yeah. That's
Is that a good way to put
pretty
it?
well, yeah.
Okay.
That's well said.
I don't know, but yeah.
All right, so if I increased your stress or hurt your feelings by the way we communicated today, I apologize. Is that fair?
Yeah,
That's
thank
stupid.
you.
I love this shit.
No,
So
I think it's good.
Now,
I think it's fair.
But what I need you to
Thank you.
understand is I don't think you can understand the stress that I feel. I don't.
No, and I don't pretend to.
No, but when you talked back to me, it didn't feel like you gave a shit about what the load was putting on me in that scenario. Is that fair? Right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
saying, I can only do the best that I can do.
Yeah.
That's like disregarding the fact that, hey, you're putting a shitload of stress on me because you're not doing
Because
well.
Josh is basically
Is that
playing
fair?
best ball.
Because I'm
against
basically
James
playing
and I.
against them by myself in that scenario. Because you were having a hard day, right?
I mean,
Right?
I did make some good shots, but if I had thrown an egg out there, then it is on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
it would be interesting.
And I can't understand like exactly what's in your head at that moment.
Well,
right?
Yeah, and everyone's thoughts are going to be different.
And to boot, in all fairness, you decided to throw a little extra stress on me at the end.
But I didn't decide to. I tried to make a good shot.
No.
Oh, yeah.
You
With the-
chose
with
to
the
do
let-
that.
Yeah, no, the
You
film.
chose to do that without any notice.
Yeah.
And if anybody that could have seen how the interaction was going could see it was stressing me out. Right? And then Tim goes, I think I'm going to throw a little more stress on this at the end.
Which, to be fair, is like something
which
I'm not.
did not feel good.
But I'm not the most observant of that, and that's on me. Is like I'm not so observant of what's going on exteriorly. My framework is like, how do I make the best video possible? And I'm thinking, one, I don't want to hold these guys up behind us. Two, I don't want all of us letting down 3 or 4 times.
And I get that, but to wait till the last target to decide to do that doesn't really reinforce your philosophy of what you're saying. Right? Oh, now because there's 1 target left, we're going to actually give a shit about how long it takes us to shoot. But 24 targets up to that.
Nah, I think it was because we had just let down a couple times on literally the target.
I think that's why Tim said it.
But there's 1 target.
I hear both points. I think that.
I think you also didn't articulate very well how important it was to you. Because if you're like, dude, this is a part of my entire process. Is I get to a point where I decide to abort or I decide to go the other way.
But here's the reality. It's his game and we have to do what he says.
And he still could have said, I don't give a shit about your process. Punch the trigger. That's what everybody's doing right now. And we would have been like, okay, that's what we got to do.
Hey, I only do surprise breaks. I will say, too, I love scoring. I never do a shoot where I don't score. Like, I just love it because I can see how I'm doing. Like you said, it teaches me how I'm shooting. But also it's fun because I do have a competitive personality in mind. So it's fun because Brandon, I think you crushed it second half of yesterday, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he scraped his way right up.
We got started today, with our team format, and out the gate you were pretty rough for
I
like
was, dude.
4 and then dropped to 0, and I was like, wow, it's going to be a 2-horse race on
Exactly.
on the main card. But then about halfway I was looking at my 5s, and I had a few, Josh had none, and you had a 0, and I was like, okay, I think I can close this gap if we work on it. And then as I was looking at the card, targets in, I go, Brandon has crept his way back in here, because after your 0, you were probably the best guy. Realistically, I think you probably were. You shot an amazing score for having a 0. I think you
Yeah.
put up a 206, if I remember.
I think that's what you'd
That's a
said.
great score for
For
having
a
a
TAC course?
0.
No, I mean, I get it.
You know,
Yeah, no.
and then I did close up on Josh, but not enough. So 5 points, which is 5's a lot. You know.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it on one of those courses. I don't know.
It's very easy to have a big 10-point swing like that.
Yeah,
Out here,
but
it's easy.
that's one of the
Very
cool
easy.
things about like just going back to this. Obviously, there's some partnership dynamics that I didn't know were this deeply kind of gristly undertone. I didn't know, but it is so interesting to me to listen to you being concerned about like, hey, dude, if I have to tell people I lost because we shot together. And it makes me look. That's really interesting.
This might sound goofy to me. I have a little bit of a different perspective on this. Even if you, because I know you are so passionate about your job and your business, and you know, obviously you're a great shooter. But I seriously think even if you got last in our group, but the videos were epic and we were having fun and obviously trying hard, I don't think you lose any credibility, at least to me.
Well,
I don't know if you guys feel the same.
It's definitely a conversation that we had I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Right, we talked about that. I don't think we talked.
Was
about
that
it.
on the pod?
Was it on the pod?
Was it on the pod?
You'll have to fill me in.
Yeah.
It was a little bit on the pod.
No,
No.
it's because at the end of the day, I don't actually care how well I do.
Yeah.
I care that I can still make the same impact.
And you can, yeah, and I don't think that will change.
I understand that's
Dude, I get
your
your concern.
interpretation.
No,
I think it's a healthy
your
concern.
I get your- I think it's a healthy
concern.
Absolutely.
Like you know, in my perception of interacting and dealing with you over the years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tim cares about one thing: making a great YouTube.
Great video,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
you do.
he doesn't care about the repercussions of what happens outside of that.
So I can be narrow that way.
You are 100% narrow that
Yeah.
way. Like you overlook things, you omit things, and you ignore things because your focus is so great, which is what makes you great at what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other things outside of that you don't see,
Mm-hmm.
and you're ignorant to.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Right?
And I-
Because I mean, I'm on YouTube so I can make a difference in people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not trying to make the best YouTube video in the world.
Yeah.
Right, in archery. And it's great if I can, because that's more lives I can affect.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But it all boils down to the affecting of lives.
And I do suppose
And
that
so there's a level of stress there involved in having a concern for losing credibility because you don't perform well.
I think it's a healthy stress, and I think like what James just reiterated is like, if maybe you had a severe injury and you couldn't shoot as well, you would still be as credible. People
Different, I think, too.
People really.
I think there's a percentage of people that wouldn't feel that way.
No, I don't think that. I just think it's different because I think that it's something that's. It's not because you lost discipline and stopped shooting your bow and started focusing on your business. Like, oh man, now he's starting to drop 10 off of Vegas and he's shooting 290.
Can I be frank about this?
Yeah.
There's a reason Dudley doesn't score anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, of
Because
course.
that credibility matters to him.
But Josh, one thing you and I are so aligned with from a coach's perspective is just like in a mental approach, acuity perspective to a sport is like you can only control the process. That's all you can do. You can only control your effort, your attitude, and your process. Those are things that are in your hands. Where the arrow lands or where the results lay is out of our control. And it is healthy to want to do a good job, but we can't control the outcome. We never can. We can never control where the arrow goes. So we have similar feelings and beliefs in that way. And you feel that way too. I know you do about how you teach archery and how you want people to do a good job. Like, hey, focus on the shot, not the result. And Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say too, like how, you said Tim might be short-sighted on certain things because he's so invested in the videos. I think everyone could say that about certain things that they do.
Sure.
Maybe I'm short-sighted on some stuff because I'm trying to drive home pumpies all day long. So like maybe I'm missing out on. I'm too busy drilling 12, so I'm not talking to
I'm not talking about how
my
I
point is,
feel.
like, I think these things happen in all sectors of life.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's why I love actually hearing this, and I'll be really interested to read the comments on your guys' discussion right here.
It'll be good.
But I like it because you guys are having a real conversation that is in front of the camera. People are going to watch. And I tried real hard to get them to pull the last episode, So if this one goes out,
It'll go. It won't get edited.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
Like what's really said and how we really feel comes out.
Yeah.
And results be damned. That's fine.
And Tim actually comforted me on this because I don't get like that how I was yesterday ever, but it was like a unique circumstance, and I was just like, maybe you weren't even telling the video. I don't know. but
You probably think it's a lot worse than it was.
But Tim said to me, he goes, dude, people, who cares? Like people aren't gonna not like you. Maybe if they're haters, they'll like me less, but they already don't like me. People who do, it's like they don't care, and to me, that's what I think about your shooting. Are people not going to be Josh Jones fans because I beat him one day? No one can.
Yeah, but
I get your point. I'm not discrediting
fully
the
get
point.
Josh's point that he is concerned
100%.
about the.
I think it's healthy.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think everyone wants to show out as their best.
Well, and that's the other problem is that I think that the other thing is because he doesn't take the time, there's such a difference between where he is now and what he knows his best is. Dude, that would be frustrating. That would be really frustrating. Like if I decided to do, whatever, go back to something that I did 10 years ago. Music. Dude, I pick up my bass guitar and I literally, that's an exact correlation actually. I pick up my bass and I try to play licks that I used to be able to play and I can't play them. I can play them if I slow down, but everything moves slower, dude, and I hate that feeling. But the amount of time and effort it takes to get back to the point where I'm rocking and rolling, the same as what he's doing, and then the fear of holy shit, this might affect my business. Because if people hear that Brandon McDonald, the beautiful cigar-smoking, bourbon-drinking man, came to Tennessee and spanked my little ass.
Gummy eating.
That wasn't a mistake.
Spanked
it
my
wasn't a
little
mistake.
ass.
He told me it was for inflammation. Okay, I thought I was gonna,
I thought
my knees were gonna be moving.
I thought it was more of a CBD thing.
Yeah, it was a
than
CBD
THC.
thought. That's what I thought too.
CBDs,
I got
PCPs,
I got sold down the river.
METH.
The thing, I really hope when I watch it, I just remember at one point for literally 15 minutes going, dude, and going, in my head I'm going, don't turn too aggressive, try to look natural. Don't turn too aggressive. Meanwhile, I'm probably like this on video. Dude, that shit
I
was
appreciated how
unbelievable.
supportive you were because you were so engaged with your neck while you were high.
I couldn't say anything, so I figured I'd at least give you some neck English, I don't know.
Body language is a big deal, dude. Especially on podcasts, body language, really big.
Oh, dude. Oh, it was rough. Dude.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
No,
I think these pods are both, in their own way, going to be very engaging in the comment section.
No, I'm sure.
But I think, a little bit of the inverse might be true is it might feel like performance to belief in you when it's not really performance to belief in you. It's more like realness to belief in you, right? The realer you are, the more people believe, the more. The internet is so interesting, but it kind of the internet does a really good job at getting and understanding expertise and feel. And I know that shooting a good score can feel really good, but I think the internet knows, dude. They know that you care, and that's what they care about, right? They don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care, and they know you care.
Yeah, dude, the internet it is interesting because coming out here, I thought to myself, I think of all 4 of us showing up. I think just because of the type of content I've made in the past, and some of the current stuff, but like, I think people some think I'm like a garbage shooter. I really think.
I legitimately, when we first started talking, I wondered, is James kind of a garbage shooter?
So I was excited to show up because I was
Yes.
like, if I can go out and at least just do a medium level of what I typically do, I think it'll gain me a lot of respect as a shooter because, you know, they respect you as a shooter, or you as a shooter, or you as a shooter, and now they're like, oh shit, maybe not just funny, you know?
Sure.
So that kind of validates your point about the credibility thing because
it's a healthy
I
thing,
felt like
right?
it could gain me some credibility
Yeah, dude.
from people going, hey, I shouldn't maybe talk shit anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why the plate challenge,
It's
by the
good
way.
to care about your job. No one,
Yeah, of course.
everyone wants.
Of course.
That's a great trait. Like all my friends care about their jobs or care about a passion. It's something that I think is so important. It gives you meaning. It gives you purpose. It gives you drive. It gives you fire. Those are all good things.
100%. 100%. And then I feel like we've been potting for about 17 hours. So I just want to say, are we wrapping it up as the host?
Yeah,
So
sure.
can I wrap it up? Or do part of the
Maybe
wrap
let's
up?
let Josh wrap it up.
Okay, all right.
Wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, head on over to podiumarcher.com for all those archery needs. $99 stuff is free shipping. Subscribe to Brandon McDonald's channel. He's going to bring it back. It doesn't exist, but it'll be back soon. Bowdisciples.com. Buy something that says pump station on it because that might be the best phrase ever cemented.
Thank you.
Tim Connor, coupon code TimC for all those archery needs.
It helps
Save you a little money.
It helps
what we do.
It helps support our archery
Right.
addiction. Is that a fair
Right.
word to use?
And realize at the end of the day, most of us are here to try to make you better. That's what we're here for. I know that's what I'm here for.
I just want to make you laugh.
And yeah, there's an entertainment factor with everything, right? But at the end of the day, we simply want you to be better at archery, and that's why at least that I spend the time, and why I care so much, and why I put the effort into what I do, and why I get passionate about what I do. Because like I said, I get why John doesn't shoot, right? Because you don't want to lose that credibility if you don't shoot well. And so, at the end of the day, just don't be afraid to work on your own stuff, and hopefully we give you the encouragement that gets you doing that.
And just shoot more year round. Make
Yeah,
you a better
do it all
hunter, more
the time.
ethical hunter.
Go shoot your bow.
Yeah.
Have
Shoot your
fun.
bow.
Yep. And
Make a great memory with your friends.
100%. And dude, it's so good to like be on this podcast, shoot with you guys, and see ya. With the hard neck jerk, dude. We gotta watch that clip again, dude.
Too funny.
Guys, that was a